Yo, what's good? Today we are going to talk about why dating in 2025 feels impossible. And it's one of the things where, with these videos, I want to talk about what's going on. And I feel like, you know, putting a little bit of Minecraft helps. But basically, this video is going to go over what I've been seeing, the trends I've been seeing, my experiences in this year, and why I feel like as if dating has just become so impossible to where some people literally feel like they're just going to be lonely for the rest of their lives. And I mean, some people might. Some people might be single for the rest of their lives. But the thing is, it doesn't help that dating, especially as a guy, it feels like you're just fighting an uphill battle. It just feels like as though you're constantly at war. You're constantly trying to, find that person. But the thing is, it feels like as though you're just fighting an uphill battle every chance you get just simply because of how ridiculous it feels to date in 2025. So, if anyone hasn't been on dating apps, if you haven't been on any of these, they try to, oh, of course, the farmer's here. If you haven't seen, it really does feel like as though, when you're on dating apps, when you're on like Tinder, I use Facebook dating just because, I use Facebook for like connecting with friends, and they have Facebook dating. So I've been trying Facebook dating, and I will say I have gone on like 2 or 3 dates with it. So I've had small successes, but of course I'm not in any kind of relationship right now. And I feel like, to tie into the Christian perspective of things, I feel like God is keeping people single, not because he's evil. I don't think so. But it's because I think being single will teach you a lot about yourself. And it will teach you, like, what are you really looking for? Because I think a lot of people, they date and they don't really look for, like, the qualities they want in a partner. They just date and they just want to date and just find a wife or whatever. Let's say, if you go dating, you want to find your forever person. Well, the thing is, how do you know what you're looking for? Like, what are you really looking for in a partner? Right? Because it's not just, oh, well, I just want someone to have sex with. I just want someone to, have my children. I'm like, you can't be so selfish like that. Like, you got to think of, okay, well, what does the other person want from me, and can I do that? Like, am I willing to give the other person what they're looking for, right? And even with asking friends out, like I've asked like one or two of my friends out on dates, and I went on a date with one of them, but they said, "Hey, I would like to be friends," and that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with asking friends out. I think, and that's the other thing too, is I think some girls like to shame dudes for asking them out these days, and I think that's ridiculous because, it's why is it that when a guy asks a girl out, why is it that some girls will literally go to the extremes of calling the dude a creep when he simply just wanted to inquire about going on a date? And I think, and I can't believe I've had to explain this, but it shouldn't be this world breaking thing that a guy wants to ask a girl out, especially if they're friends. Yes, it's out of the blue, I know. But the thing is, you know, sometimes a guy needs to ask. And if the guy doesn't ask, he will never know. Right? And if he does, and this is the one thing I will say about guys, and this is towards the guys. If a girl says no, move on. Move on. Please, for the love of God, please just move on. You will do you and the girl favors if you just move on and go look elsewhere. Because the friend you asked or whoever you asked, if they said no, if they wanted to cut things off, show some decent respect. Show some respect and just like move on. But even still, it's like for dating apps, I saw a statistic with dating apps. It's like, you know, the rate of people that are on dating apps. It's like 80 to 85% of people on dating apps are men. So not only is it hard, I mean, girls are there, girls exist. Yeah, shocker. I just gave some world groundbreaking news that girls exist on planet Earth. Yeah, I just gave the greatest news ever. But anyways, um, for real, like when it comes to, like trying to find someone on a dating app, it is ridiculously hard. I don't know why, but it just feels like you're fighting an uphill battle, right? But the other thing I think also doesn't help, and I think it also ties into the dating scene. Pornography and OnlyFans also don't help whatsoever. I think, why is there a bat here? I think that one of the biggest downfalls of society is how OnlyFans, and I'm not saying every single OnlyFans is like this, or I'm not saying that every girl who does OnlyFans is like this at all, but what I am saying is I believe that one of the things that is plaguing our society is how so many people are watching porn and how so many people are giving their hard-earned money to these OnlyFans people, right? And I'm not saying that, these OnlyFans people can't make money. I'm not saying that they, never deserve to get paid. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is if you're a guy and you're looking for your forever person, stop looking on OnlyFans. Okay? These women, they are not going to marry you. They are not your wives. They're literally models. At this rate, that's what they are. They are models, and they are there to make money based off of how they look. That is objectively what OnlyFans is for. It is for girls or whoever to make money based on their physical attractiveness. And people will donate to them and give them money. That's the business model. But what I see and what I don't like to see is guys who, instead of getting out there and trying to ask girls out and trying to ask people left and right, you know, instead they're spending hours, and I mean hours, on Twitch streams, on OnlyFans, and they're expecting these streamers to like them. But dude, you can't do that. You can't expect for these girls to like you that way, right? And I think that also contributes to the downfall of dating. And then, and this is what really grinds my gears, is these people on social media who berate guys for asking them out. And I'm like, you're literally sitting here trying to say that something that has existed since the dawn of time, which is a male's attractiveness to a woman and a woman's attractiveness to a man, you're basically trying to say that a man should never ask you out. Here's a news flash. You're gonna get asked out. You are. Okay? You cannot avoid a guy asking you out. I don't understand this mentality of, a guy is evil if he asks me out. That is completely and utterly childish. Okay? And this is what I think really hurts society is when you have this messaging, especially to these women and these younger women and the kids listening to these quote unquote influencers, it isn't helping at all. Okay. There are ladies who are watching this content and like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want a guy to ever ask me out. And I'm like, what? What? A guy is going to ask you out. That is what has been happening since the dawn of time. Okay? Like, why is it that we are villainizing dudes asking girls out? Why has it become such a horrible thing to do? And it just bothers me because it's like, I think so many guys, so many guys, they feel lonely because it's like now we're villainizing dudes for asking girls out. And I'm like, are you serious? What in the world? Like, it's so freaking childish. And I think overall, dating in 2025 is ridiculous. It's insane. And to anyone that can find a spouse or a wife or whatever, Godspeed to you. Like and subscribe.